Welcome back to the WHHI-TV Daily News. Representative Weston Newton has joined me, and we are going to talk today about the South Carolina Republican Caucus legislative agenda. I know that there's some pillars that you want to get to talking about and some things that you really are prioritizing. So talk to us a little bit about that agenda.
I'm delighted to. Last Thursday, following the election, the House Republican Caucus convened back in Columbia to continue the discussion that we have had throughout the summer and our retreat about sort of what we've identified as the 6 pillars, essentially, for progress to build on the success that's happening in South Carolina today. Among the top of those items are moving forward with some historic tax cuts, building upon the recent largest income tax cut in state history. We want to reduce the income tax rate to create a system that's more simple, that's more fair and flatter. When you compare North Carolina's tax rate and Georgia's tax rate to South Carolina's tax rate, it's not a comparison of apples to apples, because of what we're doing in South Carolina is following the adjusted gross income from the federal level. So it often looks like our tax rate is higher than our neighbors, and rather than change the adjusted gross income formulas, we are continuing to try to deliver a historic income tax cut. Look, fundamentally, we think people are better off with money in their pocket than in government's pocket, and we want to lower the personal property tax burden on small businesses as well. So see that to be a key item going forward this year, continuing to promote business-friendly policies in South Carolina, looking at regulations. Fun fact, South Carolina has 81,000 do's and don'ts and regulations in South Carolina. It puts us 16th in the nation.
That's a big number.
For the most regulations, absolutely. Jeff Bradley's chairman of our regs committee. There's a caucus focus on trying to figure out how we can sunset and curtail some of these antiquated and outdated regulations that are costing business and entrepreneurs significant sums of money that aren't justified in terms of government intrusion and involvement. It's addressing the soaring costs, quite frankly, that is to business, not only with regulations, but also insurance, including liquor liability. That is a big issue, and the availability of insurance, homeowners association, homeowners insurance, along the coast, those numbers are skyrocketing. Yes. We've got to do all we can to bring in more insurance carriers in South Carolina and to look at ways of encouraging the insurance companies to come here to address those soaring costs. Look, we're the fastest growing state in the country. Included in these pillars and priorities is continuing to address the infrastructure. And we've been doing that now for a handful of years. Not only with the adjustment in gas tax that was made a number of years ago, that's fully phased in, but also taking significant chunks of money and giving them to DOT to be available for federal matching programs. Roads and bridges, state infrastructure, we've got to do all we can to take advantage of every dollar at a matching level that we can get to and to continue improving the infrastructure in South Carolina. Educational opportunities, you and I discussed a few weeks ago the Supreme Court case involving the Education Savings Account and the school choice program that the court said private schools, no, public, yes. We're going back and following the pathway laid out by the justices in that decision as to what created the impediment to be able to do this and to make sure that we are promoting school choice. I also think you'll see a focus on expanding dual enrollment with regard. And again, I think the trend of continuing to increase teacher pay will continue throughout this year's session and into this year's budget. Last couple of items, prioritizing public safety. We did some things in the last year or so with regard to trafficking in fentanyl. We need to strengthen the penalties for death by fentanyl. We need to get the smash and grab organized crime bill that we passed in the House but died in the Senate before it could get passed. We need to get that moving early in session. We need to fully embrace and begin to address AI and these deep fakes of intimate images, and make sure that our laws that talk about child pornography are broad enough in scope to also cover those images that are artificially created but are virtually identical, and to fill in some of the gaps where those laws may not today contemplate artificial intelligence creating those images. And last, strengthening families and communities. This is a parental rights in both the doctor's office and in our classrooms. We need to make sure that parents' rights and positions are respected in both of those areas. So, robust agenda for the next couple of years. Certainly conservative agenda. We think good for the state of South Carolina.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to have to because we're out of time. But as you said, packed agenda. Thank you for sharing it with us, and we look forward to keeping up with the updates as we go forward. Thanks so much, Weston.
Always. Look forward to chatting with you next month. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks to everyone on the show today for their insights and contributions. As always, our production team is behind the scenes to make all of this possible. And of course, we are honored that you have chosen to share part of your day with us. I'm Betsy McDaniel, and we'll see you for the next WHHI-TV Daily News.